Thank you for Patreon now for donating to the Patreon.
Hey guys, it's Vanity. I'm back with Carfe Vanguard, Ezel, and Vanity weekly with JoJo to come subscribe and support, shall we? So this time we're covering a lot of stuff. First up, we have Maelstrom, who got revealed. And I know someone, or at least I know someone. I have someone's DMs in Discord that I know wanted Maelstrom to be revealed. So that's good for him. And we're also getting Shoji Doji, the ride line for Dragon Empire, which I find funny because a character from Thera, the project that I work on that I upload to YouTube as well, also has the name Shoji. And that's gonna be my way to remember the fact that card, so I swear to God, that thing has anything to do with the dark arts. I'm gonna laugh my ass off, because I swear, we didn't know that this was a ride line before we made Shoji. I swear on my life. Anyways, go ahead and get this started. We have a few reviews, so let's go and go through them. First up, we have Volcan Golem, Grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base, auto is placed on rear guard, putting normal unit with the same card name as one of your units from your drops into bottom, and this unit gets +5 for the turn. Okay, now, here's my thing. This could either just be for Tamayura, because that's really good support for Tamayura, you know, sending the dolls back to bottom, but then again, that's also very bad for Tamayura, because Tamayura has a way to get stuff out of drop into soul, so, like, I mean, yeah, it prevents them from decking out, I guess. It also works for Eugene if you have the right board for it, so cool, but, I'm thinking this is Shoji Doji support, because when I look at Shoji Doji, I get, like, Nubatama vibes or Murakumo vibes, and yes, well, what's the name? Tamayura is definitely supposed to be the Murakumo ride line. I do feel like it could be Shoji Doji being like the official one, you know? How do I put this? Like, Ava kind of felt like, Ava and Arkwright feel like they're the same thing kind of to some extent. Not a lot to an extent, but to some extent. So I feel like Shoji Doji is gonna like kind of expand on that too, where it's like they can share stuff between Shoji Doji and Tamayura, kind of like how Ava and Arkwright do. So Vulcan Golem, I can see it being support for either, or just a really good generic card. Either way, I like him. If he's actually good for Shoji Doji, I'll put him at a 3 of, but otherwise for right now, I'm saying like probably don't run him. Then we have Stoicheia, Maelstrom. So first up, we have Officer Cadet Eric, grade 0 boost, 5k shield, 6k base. On roll point if you win second, draw a card. Standard starter on the spot, you just get a free draw if you win second. Cool starter. I do prefer Karkos because he has dual pistols, but he works for the ride line. Also because Maelstrom requires Aqua Force for some reason, so yeah, I kind of have to run this if I want to play Maelstrom. You'll see why in a second. Then we have Tier Knight Theo, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base. Auto when he's rolled upon by a unit with only Aqua Force for its clan. So you can run normal Stoicheia lines, but it has to have Aqua Force as its clan. So I don't think you can actually use other Stoicheia lines. You might be able to, I don't know. Search for one card with Blue Storm Fleet card, reveal it, put it to your hand, show off your deck. There's only one Blue Storm Fleet card, and it's a cool-ass card that in my opinion, or in terms of art's cool-ass, in terms of its ability, and then continues rear guard during turn. Vanguard as Maelstrom's card name gets +5. Okay, honestly, this thing was doing work before we got like that new grade 1 reveal from last night, so, or for me it's Monday, so I guess from Sunday night for you guys, but yeah, that honestly was a decent skill, being a 13k booster or swinger at all times. That was nice to have as an option, but also just, he's all around a good card. He gets you a free search by just being rode upon, so I like it a lot. I think it's a good grade 1, and like I said, if you need a grade 1 slot for Maelstrom, because maybe everything else just isn't doing it for you, he's honestly a nice 2 of tech, because trust me, he was actually putting in work as a 13k, but you know, he's a decent, nice ride of 1 of, so why not? And then we have our grade 2 of the ride line, Marine General over the rest of the size, Algos. Oh my god, I love this thing, he's beautiful. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, I for some reason had like a weird infatuation with Algos when I was younger, when Aqua Force first was revealed. I don't know why, I just thought Algos was like the best card from, what's it called, from Aqua Force, but in my opinion it was like my Blaster Blade, like Aichi's Blaster Blade, this is my Blaster Blade. And when it got reprinted in Aqua Force for the trial deck of V, I was like, fuck yeah, I love Algos, and I love the Algos even more because he had 2 ways to stand. And now this one, while he doesn't stand, meaning I don't like him as much, I do love his art. I think it's fucking beautiful. I think they did Algos well here, and we're about to see why. So, auto when he's rode upon by a unit with only Aqua Force for its clan. Again, it doesn't specifically have to be Maelstrom, so that's great that he can work generically with, same with Theo, for like any of the fucking deck in Aqua Force and V and Premium, but like the fact that you have to do it in D is kind of weird. Anyways, look at top 7. Choose up to 1 unit card whose clan is only Aqua Force or Tear Dragon, call to rear guard and show for deck. So that's the other thing. Maelstrom for his skill does require Aqua Force units, but it can also be Tear Dragons. So if they ever play on Tear Dragon starter, I might just scrap Eric in general, because honest to God, I don't really like Eric's art. But yeah, so Agos is great that he works generically with all ride lines. That's something I like about it, is I think a lot of people, or at least I know I sometimes complain about it for Premium, where like the ride lines are kind of useless because you have to ride on a specific grade 3. We all know who I'm looking at, trial deck buddies. Fucking Barrow, actually not Barrow, what was the one from trial deck? Trying to remember now. Oh yeah, Magnolia, Bastion, we all know why I hate you, and then, you know, Nirvana, but Nirvana also got a reprint, you know, it's a whole thing. Either way, I like the fact that he can get any card from the top 7 as long as it's an Aqua Force or a Tear Dragon, so that's great. If they ever make a full Tear Dragon line for everything, then Aqua Force or Stoke Maelstrom's gonna be broken. And then Auto Rare, when this unit attacks, if this is a 4th battle that turn or later, he gets plus, and you have a Maelstrom Vanguard, he gets plus 5k power and Auto Rear Guard. Once attack hits, you draw a card until the end of battle. So that's great. And sadly, the power only lasts for the battle, but also, the power only lasts for the battle. But on the bright side, you know, if you restand him during the 4th battle, he can keep going with it. And it's a nice free on-hit draw skill, and not to mention just being able to hit something in general, especially because you might have to use the boost on the first attack. I know when I first played Maelstrom, I had to do that. So all around, I like Algus a lot. I think he's an amazing grade 2. I love his art. I love his skill. 4 of, in my opinion, in the Maelstrom deck. 1 of in the ride deck, 3 of in the main deck. He's just a really good card. I mean, you can argue with me on that if you want, but on like top 7 search and then the on hit, why not tech option? Then we have Blue Storm Dragon Maelstrom, the card everyone else is probably excited for, and in my opinion, the most let downish of this ride line. I'm not saying he's bad, it's just that in my opinion, these two are, I don't know, better. I get why his skill is like this, I'm just saying. So great 3 Persona, 13k base, active and once per turn, discard 1. Choose a unit card whose clan is on the Aqua Force or is a Tear Dragon from your soul, call it to rear guard until end of turn. He gets auto rear or the unit gets auto rear. When this unit attacks, if your opponent's Vanguard's a grade 3 or greater, and that is the first battle of that turn, counter blast 1, stand this unit until it gets that ability to the end of turn. At the end of the turn, you put that called unit to soul. So here's my issues with this. First up, that ability, I mean, granted, you can call a unit for free from soul, basically, but the issue is, if they're not at grade 3, it doesn't restand. And when in the new set of Maelstrom support, there's only 2 cards that can stand, and this is one of them. Yeah, kind of weird. And by restand, I mean give something the ability to restand. And then Auto Van, when this unit attacks a Vanguard, if it's a 4th battle that turn or later, draw a card, choose an opponent's rear guard, kill it. Okay, I was questioning how they were going to interrogate that into D, but I guess that fucking did it very easily. They just straight up on swing, 4th battle that turn or more, kill, draw, or draw, kill. Really nice. Especially because you get to do the draw first, so you can choose, like, based off the card if you want to kill one rear guard or another. But, you know, it's not a bad skill because you get to call for free. Here's my issues with Maelstrom. It just feels like Flagberg, but in a different way. What I mean by this is I know Flagberg is meant to be knockoff Maelstrom. How I see it is this. Flagberg can get more attacks thanks to that promo grade 3 that can act as a 6 attack if you let it. But also, or not promo grade 3, the one from the Festival Collection. But another thing is, Flagberg feels like Maelstrom with more power. Maelstrom feels like Flagberg with more consistency. Like, I can pull off Maelstrom multi-attack to 5 attacks. In my opinion, it feels easier to do it in Maelstrom, or at least I don't have to put myself into a counterblast deficit without needing a very certain rear guard to fix it, compared to Flagberg, where if I do this more than once, I have definitely fucked myself with Maelstrom. I can do it 3 times if I wanted to, so, or 4 times, honestly. Maelstrom, that's my opinion on it. I think he's fine. It's just that in my opinion, I think Flagberg just, and maybe that's because Flagberg has more support, but I feel like Flagberg is quote-unquote better, or at least does the power better than Maelstrom, but Maelstrom does have the consistency in my opinion. And then move on to our order, which in my opinion has a cool name. I don't know which one is right. I hope the other one's right, and at least I hope, because it came from Discord. But the other one was called Judgment Maelstrom, which to me, it sounds like fucking boss-ass name for, like, this order, even though this order, in my opinion, doesn't deserve that name. But Maelstrom of Judgment, which is not nearly as cool. Grade 3 set order. This card can only be played if you have Vanguard of Maelstrom's card name. Hey, I'm fine with this. It's another set order. I really don't care. So auto is placed into your order zone, perform all the following. Choose a unit card whose only clan is Aqua Force or is a Tear Dragon from your drop zone, call it to rear guard, and then choose one of your rear guards for each other copy of this in your order zone. It gets plus 5 for the turn. Okay, so get you a free rear guard and pumps numbers to it. That's great. It's cool. My issue is this card's dead once it hits the order zone. Like the turn after it hits the order zone, the only use it has is being like plus fodder for others. And honestly, you don't play this more than 2 times a game. Like if you play it 3 times, I'm willing to bet either you or your opponent has been sacking this entire game, or you have somehow fucked up, because my entire game, except for the one where my opponent was actually sacking, heal triggers back and forth, and so was I, we didn't get to the point where we played more than this twice. So yeah, and especially that game where I actually had 3 of them in my hand for the opening for some fucking reason. So yeah, you still want to run this at probably a 4 or 3, just because in case one hits the damage zone and this gets you a free one, but because this is the only Blue Storm Fleet card. But I don't know, feels like the deck can do without it. It's nice to have because it's a free call and definitely makes discarding easier, especially for Maelstrom's cost. But it feels like, you know, that card where if they gave us something better, we would be like, Maelstrom of Judgment who? Then we have Wheel Assault, my least favorite card among these. Grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base. He has a moon, and that's why I hate this. Because he has a moon, and he has like this cool ass art, and I love his art. But his skill, in my opinion, is so shit, or at least for D. Auto rear at the end of the battle, this unit boosted. If you have Vanguard, Maelstrom's card name, solo boss 1, choose 2 of your rear guard and swap them. Okay, you can do that, or you could not do that. Honest to God, unless you persona ride, in my opinion, or unless you have enough of these to benefit from this, I don't feel like this is worth it. You can get more numbers and cheaper restand. I mean, well, not cheaper restands. This will technically do it all at once, but you get more numbers and you waste less soul. And considering Maelstrom's calling from soul and one of the other restanders that they had title soul over there, in my opinion, is better than this. So yeah, don't get me wrong, Real Assault's not bad, but I cut him the second that new grade 1 got revealed, so take that as you will. He's fine if you want more multi-attack, but at the same time, he's kind of like, meh. Then we have Tidal Assault, our main grade 2. We all knew this was coming back when we heard Maelstrom was revealed. If you didn't think Tidal Assault was coming back, then you clearly don't know what Aqua Force is. So grade 2 units have 5k shield, 10k base, auto rear. When this unit attacks, Soul Blast 1, choose one of your Vanguards, Maelstrom's card name, gets +5 for the turn. Okay, I question why it doesn't give him to itself. That would have been really fucking useful when I was playing that game against Favernir. Auto rear at the end of the battle, this unit attacked. If this was the second battle of that turn, specifically, and you have a standing Vanguard of Maelstrom's card name, Crown Boss won't stand this. Okay, great. So thankfully, he's not locked behind the grade 3 restriction, unlike Maelstrom himself, but that means, you know, you can now get 4 attacks. I mean, I guess that's what I can see this thing for. He can get 4 attacks while you're going first, but still. Either way, Tidal Assault is nice to have. Increases power of Maelstrom, which does help push some numbers, and not to mention the fact that he can stand whenever. I mean, well, second battle, but whenever during the second battle, regardless of who's at what grade, as long as you are on a Maelstrom. So, Tidal Assault is great. I like him. He's my favorite grade 2. I guess now I can kind of see a little bit more reasoning in Wheel Assault. The fact that I never thought about it that way, that he can be used while your opponent's at grade 2, but at the same time, like, run him if you want. Run this one at 4, or at least at 3, but, depends for this one. Then we have Abend or Robust. Grade 3 Temperature, 13k base. Auto when he's placed on rear, combat boss 1, search your deck for 1, set order card and reveal it, and if it's a card in your order zone with the same name, add it to your hand and shuffle your deck. Okay, so this feels like it was supposed to be different than Endogram. Because Endogram's been focused on different orders, and we actually have cards that have specified different orders. So why is this one now searching for same name, or is this just a mistranslation of Discord, or is that actually its skill? And then, I mean, because if that's not its actual skill and it is different named, then I'm starting to question, was Endogram supposed to be a promo, or was it meant to be a set 8 card? Because that would make 3 cards that would support it if this did say different named. But anyways, auto rear, when this unit attacks, choose 2 set orders from the same card name from your order zone. If you chose to, it gets +10 for the battle. Great, so 23k swing. Interesting. I guess I can see this being useful in Orfist. I do not see you needing this in prison. Meteors, I can see this in Meteors, actually. I can definitely see this, because I just now remembered that you can search your deck for Meteors, so that's fair. What was the other one? Ava? I guess to some extent in Ava, but Ava has enough searching to where they're fucking fine, and then Archive definitely doesn't need this, so okay, like I can see this. Like, this is a good Meteor support card, maybe Orfist if you really needed it, so okay, fair enough, you know, 2 to 3 of in those 2 decks, just because maybe. Then we have our new line for, you know, or not new line, but new support for Maelstrom, which I also immediately teched in. I said, fuck Theo in the ride line. Sorry, buddy. I mean, I kept him in the ride line, but I took him out of the main deck. And then I immediately said, Wheel Assault, fuck you. I mean, I literally took out Wheel Assault first. But anyways, Shoreline Raised Dragon, grade 3 Berserk, 13k base, auto rear, and this new attacks if it's the 4th battle of that turn or more. And your order zone has a blue Storm Armada card, aka the thing that you get the second you ride from Theo. He gets +10 for the battle, and at the end of the battle, put him to soul. That is a mandatory effect. But on the bright side is that's 1, a free soul, 2, a free 23k swing, and 3, you can send him to soul at the end of the turn and then get it out via Maelstrom. Swing for the first attack, he restands, he doesn't go to soul because it only works during the 4th battle, and then you get all the way to the 4th attack or more, and he swings again, and he gets the power, and he goes back to soul at the end of the battle. So all around, Shoreline's an amazing card, opens up your board, gets numbers, gets power, it's a great grade 3, 3 to 4 of, just a good card. Then we have the card I got rid of Wheel Assault for, Striking Brave Shooter. Grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base, continues to regard during the 4th battle of that turn or more, all your instants that calm them get +5. So, One, counts himself because it says all of your units in the same column as him, so unless that's a slight mistranslation, that means himself included. And, that means 13k booster, and everything in front of him is a plus 5k. Yep. So great. So if you have to waste your attack on the... How I see is this. If you have to waste your boost on the first battle, because, maybe you just called Algos and you didn't Persona Ride like I did, and I got fucked over in that game, you can boost with this on the first swing, do the restand, swing with Tidal Assault, do Tidal Assault, restand, swing with Tidal Assault, swing with Maelstrom, kill rear guards, and then swing with Algos. He gets plus 5 from his skill, and then it gets another plus 5 from this thing's skill. Boom, 20k swing. Granted, only dropping a 10k guard, but still. All around, I love Striking Brave Shooter. I love his name. I love his card art. I love his ability. And this was the perfect replacement for Real Assault for me. Again, I say, I love his art. Hate his skill. I see why his skill is good. But still, so 4 of Bravest, or not 4, 3 of Bravest Shooter, just a good card. Next up, we have a reveal from Darkshade, so I guess everyone nation's getting a reveal to this week. We have Brick Garden up first, upgrades 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base. This knockoff looking version of Golurk from Pokemon. Auto, when it's put on rear guard from your soul, or when it's put into your soul from your rear guard circle, aka greed on it. If your damage one has 4 or more cards, bind this card, countercharge 1. Okay, it's great. This card can be used in multiple decks, because there are a lot of decks that can send stuff to soul, such as, what's it called? That one Diablo's card, Madonna, the grade 1 that serves stuff to soul to get plus 10 to itself and something you call from soul. From rear guard to soul, I guess, greed on. So all around, it's not like it has too many uses, but it does have a good amount of uses. So if your deck's running a little bit counterblast heavy, I definitely suggest Break Garden, but then again, in their own respective decks, they have counterchargers. Greed on has the new Alligator, and then Bruce has the Order, so but you can choose to run this if you want, as a 2 over 3 of. Then we have Record Break Dragon. This thing looks like it belongs to Gear Chronicle, and the fact it doesn't support is kind of disappointing. I mean, we can call it support because it's generic, but still. Anyways, grade 3 Persona, 13k base. Auto is placed on rear guard from your hand by counterblasting 1. Look at top 5. Choose up to 1 card from one of them without the same card name as a card from your soul. Put it to your soul and shuffle your deck. I read this as put a card with the same name into your soul. I was about to say this card's broken for Favonir, but this card actually works out pretty well for Chaos. That's actually a good support card, and I remember I read that, like I said, I read it completely wrong, and I thought it was not support for Chaos at all, but, getting a free card into your soul, that's amazing just for the cost of a counterblast, and not to mention the fact that it technically does work for any Dark States deck that needs just either a counterblast soul charge 1, or the fact that of just getting another grade into soul. For example, Bartholomedis could possibly get grade 3s into soul from this. Favonir can get grade 3s. I mean, okay, Favonir doesn't necessarily need grade 3s in soul, but you kind of want grade 3s in soul. So yeah, Record Break all around is a nice grade 1. Grade 3 that I like, and it's a decent card. So, 3 of it, and I need Dark States deck that kind of just wants a bunch of fucking soul charging that isn't Bruce or Barrow, for that matter.
And finally, to wrap up the video, we have our Shoji Doji reveals, the new ride line from Dragon Empire, and honestly, I gotta say, from the skills I have slightly read, these seems like exactly what I thought they would. Give me a second. So I'm gonna get started with the grade 0, boost 5k shields, SK base, can't quick shake stealth row Shoji Doji, standard auto and road point 1 second draw a card. I gotta say, from the ones I've seen, I really like these guys' arts. I like the samurai drunken feel you kind of get from them. I don't know why. And the reason why I like their arts is because of this one in particular, Sakura Romance Stealth Rogue Shoji Doji. I love this stance so much, and I love seeing him use swords, because as you all know, I am a sword bower. So I really love seeing this card. So, Auto is placed on Vanguard, look at the top 5, choose up to 2 normies with stealth feet, or just stealth in their card names in general. From on them, reveal them, put one of the reveal cards into your soul, bind the remaining, and shuffle your deck, and then act a bind zone. If you have a grade 1 or greater Vanguard Stealth Rogue, or just stealth in its card name, Soul Blast 1, call to rear guard. Okay, all around, I like this skill a lot. I do love how they're giving us more on-place Vanguard skills rather than on road upon skills. I don't know why, I just like the on-place ones more. He's a top 5 search that can get 2 stealth units out of the deck, so easy deck then. I like it a lot. I think this thing's really nice, and obviously I've said I love its art. So, also it has, I guess, main deck personality, because, you can put it in the main deck to call it from your bind zone, so I like this card a lot. If you're ever running low on main deck cards, he's a good 2 of option, but still ain't one of in the right deck, but he's really nice to have. Then we have World Shaper, this World Shaper Stealth Rogue Shoji Doji. Auto, grade 2 and stuff like I show 10k base. Auto was placed on Vanguard. Similar skill, look at top 5, chose 2 normies with Stealth Fiend in their card names. Not Stealth Fiend, why do I keep Auto going to Stealth Fiend? Stealth cards and their cards and stuff in their card names. Reveal them, put 1 into your soul, call the other card, and shuffle your deck. Okay, great. So, getting the ability to instead get one card to soul and call another to rear guard. Now, if it sucks for you that both cards happen, it actually has to be normal units. So all around, really nice. Get your rear guards, get your soul. What's not to like about it, and then act a bind zone, same skill where if you have a grade 2 or greater stealth card as your vanguard, soul blast 1, call this card to rear. Okay, again, I like this thing. I don't like its art as much, though I do feel like this is more majestic feeling, and this one is more, I don't know, just cool looking to me. But being able to call itself from bind zone again is great for tech options if you're running out of stealth units to put in your deck. And not to mention the fact that it can get the top 5 search again just by being placed on Vanguard. All around, I like its skill a lot, and this is just going to be very fun to play rush plays with, so, you know, one of in the red deck, maybe some in the main deck just for, again, rush plays. Then we have our main grade 3 peak personage stealth rogue Shoji doji. Grade 3 turn persona at 13k base. Act Vanguard once per turn, bind 2 stealth units from your soul. Never mind, you don't need to put either of these 2 in the main deck now that I think about it when this thing binds from soul. Choose 2 of your opponent's rear guards, bind all of the cards on the chosen rear guard circles, and your opponent puts those cards at their hand at the end of the turn. So, you know, get rid of a lot of cards if they're playing Overdress, well then everything goes with them. So all around, pretty nice. And then auto van, once you attacks a Vanguard by counterblasting 1 and putting 2 rear guards into your soul, choose a stealth card from your bind soul, call it to rear guard, and if your opponent's Vanguards are grade 3 guard to that code, you get plus 10 for the turn. Okay, I think that's pretty good all around. It can nuke 2 rear guards very easily just by quote-unquote soul blasting 2, or to be more like binding 2 stealth units, and then you're setting up for his on-swing skill that can call stuff and get plus 10k power. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago we got a card that bound itself or had something to do with the bind zone. I don't remember what it was, but I'm going to go look that up real quickly to actually benefit from Shoji doji. But either way, I love this skill a lot. I think it works out pretty well. It doesn't really have that high of a cost. You can run a bunch more counterblasters because he only counterblasts 1 for himself. Just a nice grade 3, and I love his art. So yeah, 3 of them made, I quote him Friday. Also, I was fucking right that he was a new Atama card, because that's what new Atama does, bind shit. Granted, binds both players, but still. Then we have Stealth Fiend Komion. Grade 1 boost 5k shield at K base. Auto is placed on rear guard from your hand by counterblasting 1. Choose a card from your opponent's bind zone, put it to the bottom of their deck, and if your opponent did not put a card, choose up to 1 unit card with Stealth Fiend's card name with grade less than or equal to your Vanguard from your bind zone, call it to rear guard. So first up you use this regardless first, but either, technically you don't have to, because either you use Shoji doji skill first, and then you call this thing to get rid of one of their important rear guards by sending that unit in the bind zone to bottom, or you use its ability to call a rear guard from your bind zone, or you do both. So all around, Komion is really nice. It gets you rear guard that can work whether your opponent's at grade 3 or grade 2. Hell, this card works at any time because the second this thing is placed, it binds something unless you break in your top 5 search. So yeah, all around a good card. I like it a lot, definitely really good. I'm straight up 4 for Shoji doji. Then we have, obviously I have a bias towards this card because it has an arrow, so I love arrows, which is Stealth Fiend Jakumatsu Ox, grade 2 and 5k shield, 10k base. Auto is placed on rear guard from your bind zone, he gets plus 5 for the turn. Okay, alternative options to the ride line of Shoji doji. And then auto rear and you attacks by soul blasting 1, you choose an opponent's bind zone card and put it to bottom. There it is. Cool, now we have ways just to say, fuck your bind zone. So essentially this card turns into, if you play it right, get a rear guard, send your opponent shit to bottom, get multi-attack, and that's it. So all around, pretty nice. It's a very simple cost. I can definitely see the deck running into a soul problem, because again, technically that would be a soul blast 3, but we'll see how it goes. So Jakumatsu Ox, I think he's definitely a good grade 2, and probably warrants at least a 3 of, if not a 4 of in a deck, just because again, soul problems might be an issue. Then we have Stealth Dragon Upresidon, grade 3 10 persona, 13k base. Auto is placed on rear guard by your card's ability. Okay, so clearly it's meant for Shoji doji or Tamayura. I was fucking right, they were going to share a unit. If you have a Vanguard with Tamayura or Shoji doji in its card name, by soul blasting 1, draw a card. Okay, maybe not for Shoji doji, but definitely a decent card for Tamayura. And continuously, if you have 2 or more cards where you put, if 2 or more cards are put into your soul this turn, he gets plus 10k power. Okay. Technically, I feel like this card's better for Tamayura because I feel like Tamayura is going to have more often than not the ability to put more cards to soul rather than Shoji doji. And also, just the fact that being placed by card's ability, I feel like you're going to want to call this thing more than you're going to want to call this thing. But I can see reasons to run Usa Precedent, so go as you will with him, but I don't think he's really worth running in Shoji Doji, and I definitely don't think he's worth running in Tamiyuri either, just because, you know, they end up calling the dolls a lot, so you would only run this in the case where you've bricked and you haven't seen any of the dolls. So it's up to you how you run this, but I don't think this card is, like, worth running. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but that's just how I see it. And then finally we have the D-Series arts for our ride line for Messiahs. We have Neon Messiah, Asleep Messiah, and Awakening Messiah. And we all know I'm biased towards this one because of the obvious round thing in the background. Now, further ado, I'm going to end it here. I hope you guys enjoyed. What do you think of the new cards? What do you think of the Messiahs coming out? All around, I think Shoji Doji and Maelstrom are pretty great. I definitely cannot wait to play Shoji Doji later today for testing and obviously to upload it on Friday. So I'll see you all then. So don't forget to like, subscribe, don't forget to follow Twitch, and I'll see you all in the next one. Don't forget to stand up your vanguards.